Hey there, precious. You all comfy? Good. Ready for our bedtime story? You know we're reading King Solomon's Mines by H. Rider Haggard. I've been looking forward to this all day. I know it's been a long one for you, and it saddens me, I guess. I always want everything to be the best for you, because I get to sit down here with you and share this little moment where it's just me, you, and a good story. I will always be here for these moments when you need quiet, no matter what else is happening in the world. Okay? Alright. Now, where were we? Oh, here we go. Chapter 2. The Legend of Solomon's Mines. What was it that you heard about my brother's journey at Bangmangwato? Asked Sir Henry, as I paused to fill my pipe before replying to Captain Good. I heard this, I answered, and I have never mentioned it to a soul till today. I heard that he was starting for Solomon's Mines. Solomon's Mines, ejaculated both my hearers at once. Where are they? I don't know, I said. I know where they are said to be. Once I saw the peaks of the mountains that border them, but they were still 130 miles of desert between me and them, and I am not aware that any white man ever got across it, save one. But perhaps the best thing I can do is tell you the legend of Solomon's Mines as I know it, you passing your word to not reveal anything I tell you without my permission. Do you agree to that? I have my reasons for asking. Sir Henry nodded, and Captain Good replied, certainly, certainly. Well, I began. As you may guess, generally speaking, elephant hunters are a rough set of men, who do not trouble themselves with much beyond the facts of life and the ways of Kafirs. But here and there you meet a man who takes the trouble to collect traditions from the natives, and tries to make a little piece of the history of this dark land. It was such a man as this who first told me the legend of Solomon's Mines, now a matter of nearly 30 years ago. That was when I was on my first elephant hunt in Matabele country. His name was Evans, and he was killed the following year, poor fellow, by a wounded buffalo, and lies buried near the Zambesi Falls. I was telling Evans one night, I remember of some wonderful workings I had found whilst hunting kudu and eland in what is now the Lindenberg district of Transvaal. I see they have come across these workings again lately in prospecting for gold, but I knew them years ago. There is a great wide wagon road cut out of the solid rock, and leading to the mouth of the working or gallery. Inside the mouth of this gallery are stacks of gold quartz piled up, ready for roasting, which shows that the workers, whoever they were, must have left in a great hurry. Also, but about 20 paces in, the gallery is built across, and a beautiful bit of masonry it is. "Aye," said Evans, "but I will spin you a queerer yarn than that." And he went on to tell me about how he had found in the far interior of a ruined city, which he believed to be the Ophir of the Bible. And, by the way, other much more learned men have said the same long since poor Evans's time. I was, I remember, listening open-eared to all of these wonders, for I was young at the time, and this story of an ancient civilization and the treasures which those old Jewish or Phoenician travelers used to extract from a country long ago since lapsed into the darkest barbarism, took a great hold upon my imagination. When suddenly he said to me, "Lad, did you ever hear of the Solomon Mountains up to the northwest of the Mawashkabi country?" I told him I never had. "Ah, well," he said, "that is where Solomon really had his mines. His diamond mines, I mean." "How do you know that?" I asked. "Know it? Why, what is Solomon but a corruption of Solomon? Besides, an old Isanawi witch doctress up the Monica country told me all about it. She said that the people who lived across these mountains were a branch of the Zulus, speaking a dialect of Zulu, but finer and bigger men even. That there lived amongst them great wizards, who had learnt their craft from white men, when all the world was dark, and who had a wonderful mine of bright stones." Well, I laughed at this story at the time, though it interested me, for the diamond fields were not discovered then. But Evans went off and was killed, and for 20 years I never thought any more of the gentleman. An elephant hunter does not often live for 20 years at his business. I heard something definite about Solomon's Mountains and the country which lies beyond them. I was up beyond the Manica country, at a place called Setandra's Kraal, and a miserable place it was, for a man could get nothing to eat, and there was but a little game about. I had an attack of the fever, and was in a bad way generally, when one day a Portuguese arrived with a single companion, a half-breed. Now, I know your low-class Deloga Portuguese well. There is no greater evil, unhung in a general way, battening as he does upon human agony and flesh in the shape of slaves. But this was a quite different type of man to the mean fellows I had grown accustomed to meet. Indeed, in appearance, he reminded me more of the polite Doms I had read about, for he was tall and thin, with large dark eyes and a curling grey mustachio. We talked together for a while, for he could speak broken English, and I understood a little Portuguese, and he told me that his name was Jose Sylvester, and that he had a place near Delago Bay. When he went off the next day with his half-breed companion, he said goodbye, taking off his hat, quite in the old style. "Goodbye, Signor," he said. If we ever meet again, I shall be the richest man in the world, and I will remember you." I laughed a little. I was too weak to laugh much, and watched him strike out for the great desert to the west, wondering if he was mad or what he thought he was going to find. A week passed, and I got the better of my fever. One evening, I was sitting on the ground in front of the little tent I had with me, chewing the last leg of some miserable fowl I had bought for my native for a bit of cloth worth nearly 20 fowls, and staring at the hot, red sun sinking down over the desert, when suddenly I saw a figure, apparently that of a European, for it wore a coat, on the slope on the rising ground opposite to me, about 300 yards away. The figure crept along on its hands and knees, got up, staggered forward a few yards on its legs, only to then fall and crawl again. Seeing that it must be someone in distress, I sent out one of my hunters to help him, and presently he arrived. And who do you suppose it turned out to be? "Jose Sylvester, of course," said Captain Good. "Yes, Jose Sylvester, or rather his skeleton, and a little skin. His face was a bright yellow of bilious fever, and his large dark eyes stood out nearly out of his head, for all the flesh had gone. There was nothing but yellow parchment-like skin, white hair, and the gaunt bones sticking up from underneath." "Water! For the sake of Christ, water!" "Look at you, pretty girl. You're already asleep. You need some rest, precious. I know it's been a long day, but I'll be here when you wake up. I promise. Now, stay safe in the gondola tonight, and make sure to tell Morpheus that I said hello. Now, sweet dreams on the river Lethe, precious."